trying to do myself some favors later.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Pretzel bites for you guys.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you so
Of
much.
course. I hope you guys enjoy.
Appreciate you. And we're back. This is Vegas Veteran Voices, the podcast where we do things a little bit differently and talk to veterans who are doing unique things for passion, purpose, and therapy. I'm here with the magical Nate, who is over here making waves over at the Las Vegas Warriors, as well as Really Okay Hockey.
Yep.
Nate, how are you doing today, bud?
I'm doing excellent.
So, we're going to dive right into it. You joined the military in 2005, right?
That's correct, yes.
What made you join? Was it like something that you wanted to do since you were like a child? Did 9/11 have something to do with something with it? Was it boredom or a little bit of both?
It was a lot of factors. Like, I watched 9/11 happen in high school when I was a freshman. And so I think most of us knew then, like, that's what we were going to do.
Yeah.
I had this crazy idea that I was going to join the Marines when it happened. And that did not pan out.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends were going Army. And so I decided, like, I'm going to stick, Army. Like, all my friends are doing it. So I decided that was the best service. And they were the most, ready to accept us. They were probably hurting for numbers, and so they were always in the office. I remember I actually tried to join the Air Force, but they were never there.
No.
Because everyone wants to join the Air Force. And then they called me like a week before I was supposed to ship out for basic. And they're like, hey, let's get you into MEPS. And I'm like, I'm already, I'm good.
I mean, that's kind of the way it goes with the Air Force. You either know somebody there or you don't get in.
Yeah.
So did you choose aviation or did aviation chose you?
I think it probably chose me because I originally chose field artillery, and my parents hated that. But when I went to MEPS originally, they offered me a nice, massive bonus, and I was like, yeah,
Hell
money.
yeah.
So, and my parents were like, that's kind of dumb. And I was like, well, okay, I'll look at other stuff. And I just came across Apaches looking through like the Army's website. And I remember thinking like, oh, that's cool. They got all the bombs and everything on it. That'd be like fun to work with all that stuff. And the job I chose I'd never got to touch any of the bombs or ammunition or anything like that.
I mean, that's the way it works.
Yeah.
If you plan out your entire life, you know what happens?
It doesn't happen that way.
God laughs.
Yeah.
Before we go too deep into this, I just want to thank Able Baker Brewing Company for allowing us to film here.
Big shout out.
I have the horchata beer. Nate has
The delicious mango.
Delicious mango.
This is my favorite. Hands down my favorite.
Do you want to dig into these pretzel bites before we get too deep?
Yeah, we can take a bite of them.
That one.
Still good.
This one's for the birds.
Get a little bit of cheese on there.
A little cheese. These are hot.
They are extremely hot.
A little bit hot, a little
That's
bit.
going to crunch a lot. That's going to be great audio.
Oh, I'm excited for it.
That is amazing. Worth it, though. I'm going to be thinking that the rest of this podcast now. That cheese is even better.
That moment when you first stick it in, you know you're going to love it.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about pretzels.
Every
people.
time. Every single time. It's like it's the first time.
Did you mention you picked Apaches, or why Apaches in the first place?
I came across it on their website, and it looked cool to me. And like I was always into cars and everything.
No.
And so one of my first thoughts when I was signing up for the Army was to be like a mechanic for like Humvees and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up veering away from that. And when I went and re-looked at jobs after I decided field artillery wasn't a great choice for me, great choice for other people, not me.
Yeah.
Apaches was like one of the first things I saw, and I was like, those are like sick. Like, I want to work with those.
Yeah.
So, and I've always been mechanically inclined, and the idea of working on helicopters, which is something kind of completely foreign to me, was really cool. So, like, it was just the natural fit. Like, as soon as I saw the Apache on the website, I was like, that's it. That's my job.
Now, did you get to ride in one, or were you just ground crew?
No.
I
So
know.
back in the day, like probably pre 9/11, like if you worked on the Apaches and you did like the kind of maintenance and everything, they would bring I think the crew chief or someone in charge of the maintenance up to like run test flights so they could check on things.
Yeah.
But eventually that changed. Excuse me. Eventually that changed, and it was only pilots. The military doesn't trust the enlisted.
Yeah.
Big surprise. But I actually did have a friend who his helicopter got selected for an air show, and a Boeing rep came out and used his helicopter, and as a treat, the rep brought him up. And so he was like this little PFC, in charge of this aircraft, and he got to go fly, and he showed me video and everything, and I was so jealous.
I mean, that's sick though, to have that opportunity. Most people don't get to fly in the aircrafts they work on.
Yeah.
So when I tell people I'm a vet, one of the first thing they ask me as a civilian that has no clue what's going on with veterans is, how many people have you killed? And that's such a misunderstanding that a lot of people don't understand. There's so many jobs outside of just infantry or spec war or things like that. What's something about turning wrenches on like an aviation base that people just don't get?
It's very hard work, especially on the Apache. It's a large aircraft,
Yeah.
but everything's compact in every little space that it could be. Like there's the transmission bay is probably the worst. Everything under the rotor is just jam packed in there, and it's like this weird game of Tetris trying to get a wrench in there. And I feel like the engineers knew what they were doing when they built it, and they were laughing at us because it can be difficult, especially on the aircraft like that.
Is that why it's called the hellhole?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know a little bit about helicopters, but not a lot, honestly. I know that the thing spins.
Mm-hmm.
I know they go up in the air.
Yep.
I know they're fun
Hopefully.
to jump out of
Sometimes.
if you have the proper gear.
Yeah. I've been told it's probably fun to jump out of, but I don't know if I would ever do that.
No. I mean, if you're interested in going skydiving, we're doing a skydiving episode in a couple months.
I will happily watch from the ground.
So, where were you stationed at while you were in?
My first duty station was in Korea.
Mhm.
I was in Wonju, Korea at a very small base, which was a lot of fun. I always liked being at the smaller places. Kind of less oversight, but I always felt more comfortable. But it was a really small base. There was a ROKH Air Force base right next to us, which is probably why I'm kind of deaf. Because anytime they taxied, it was full throttle everywhere, and so it was constantly loud. But it was really cool. Like immediately when you left outside the base, you were like thrown into the culture of Korea.
Yeah.
Like we'd go on runs out in the public and stuff like that for PT, and you really got to experience a lot about life in another country.
Yeah.
That was pretty foreign to us, and that was like the first time I had ever been out of the country, and one of the first few times I got to travel, and experience a lot of things that were very foreign to me. So it was really cool. I definitely didn't do any drinking underage.
No.
Because I was a minor there.
Yeah.
But it was a ton of fun. And then after I left Korea, I went straight to Fort Campbell, and the rest of my active duty I spent at Campbell, which is really cool. It was close to home for me. I'm from Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
And, definitely only when I had a pass, I went home. I drove home. So I got to have a little bit of experience of, being that close to friends that, didn't leave for the military and whatnot, and being close to my family. And then I also got to experience, life in Kentucky and Tennessee, and get to see Nashville a lot, which is very cool. And then after I got married actually after I got back from Afghanistan, which I went to in 2009 with the 101st Airborne. And after we went home, and I joined the Illinois Guard, and that's when I switched to Black Hawk helicopters because they didn't have the Apaches. So.
Oh, yeah. One thing I've heard from a lot of vets that do a deployment in Afghanistan is that it's almost like Afghanistan stole something from them. Is that true for you?
A little bit. My Afghanistan deployment was fairly easier than most.
Yeah.
Like I've got a lot of friends, and they had really rough deployments. Being aviation, and I got tasked out for the deployment, so I didn't like. I was definitely what was known as a fobbit.
Yeah.
I didn't leave very often. I did get to fly around a bunch, which was fun. But I had a fairly easy deployment. But I think for sure, like trust in strangers goes out the door completely.
Yeah.
Like even people that they let on the fob or people you meet when you do go out, like you just hear so many bad stories about like people that like we trusted double crossing us, you know, and so I felt like my anxiety tipped up, and you know, I was, if they weren't wearing my uniform and my flag or like a friendly country's flag, like I just didn't trust them completely. And you know, I didn't like that, but you kind of feel you almost have to do that to survive. And like I said, my deployment wasn't anything crazy. Obviously, it was much worse for a lot of other people, but that's for sure. Like that trust just goes out the door. It's tough to build back.
I totally get that. It's almost like there's a mild sense of agoraphobia that comes with you when you come home.
Yeah.
Just like not knowing what's going to happen. You're checking your doors. Even if nothing fucking happened when you're in active duty, like you've still heard stories, you've still seen shit, and it affects you inside your soul.
Yeah. You've just got to be aware that it's like, you know, whether you're, you know, at the most distant outpost, like getting shot at every day, or you're just chilling back in the rear, like it happened everywhere. And you know, so like if you're not preparing for it, you're just preparing for failure.
So on the lighter side, anyone that goes on deployment has that little piece of home they bring with them, whether it is their favorite beer that they sneak in their bag or a giant poster or something like that. I've seen one of my buddies had a giant flag that just had Shrek posed in a burlesque thing, and it just said, "Welcome to my swamp."
Yeah.
So did you have anything like that you brought with you on deployment that kind of made your day, brighten things up a little bit?
Now I'm kind of regretting that I didn't have a crazy flag like that. That sounds crazy. I brought a guitar with. I've always been into music since I was a kid, and that was one of my things that I could, you know, do to wind down the day, is just play a little guitar. It was an electric guitar because I didn't want to bring an acoustic and, you know, bug everyone. So I could play my electric however I wanted to and not bother anyone. But that was definitely for me, my like outlet.
So no Oasis, no Wonderwall?
No.
Come on, Wonderwall out by the fire.
No, it was always Foo Fighters for me.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I gotta ask you. Would you do all 9 years again, including your active and guard time? Did it spark something inside of you that you're like, if I had the chance, I'd run it back?
You know, I think about this a lot, like mistakes I made during my career and positive things. I obviously met my wife, and I've got 2 amazing kids now because of it. I always play back in my head, like, could I have done this differently without affecting like getting married and having my children? And I think better or worse, I would do it exactly the same.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just so I wouldn't risk losing what I have now.
Yeah.
You know? So I think exactly the same. There's, like, I always wanted to go fly, obviously, put in a packet for like warrant officer or something like that. But, you never know what can change and what would have been that final straw for someone. So, 100% the same.
Hell yeah. Because one thing that I take to heart, and I had to learn the hard way, is when you're living your life, you have amazing things that happen to you that are just like moments that you cherish. I'm sure you've seen Inside Out where the ball rolls and it's like golden and sparkling and everything looks perfect. Then you have those moments that are not so great and they're shitty fucking things that happen to you. But it still forms you as a person, as a character, and it creates who you are today. If you didn't have both sides of that picture, you would not be the Nate that's sitting in front of me right now. Exactly, and that's something that I have, like, to remind myself every single day that, like, yeah, shitty things fucking happen. But they happen for a reason, and it's character building.
Yeah, those shitty things can be gold balls too, you know? Just because they're not happy doesn't mean you didn't gain value from them, you know? I've 100% learned a lot from failure. probably more than success.
Yeah.
You know, because everyone fails at, a lot of things. And, if you're not taking a lesson from them, just send yourself up for more failure
Yeah.
that you're never going to learn from. So, those little balls they can be a bitch,
Yeah.
but you gotta love them, whatever they are.
Now, off camera, you mentioned a moment at Fort Campbell that
Mhm.
was a pinnacle moment for you. Would you like to share that?
Yeah, so I was obviously aviation, and so within aviation, every aircraft has a logbook, and that's like the sacred book for every aircraft. And there's a lot of officers and senior enlisted that are very picky about their logbooks,
Yeah.
and so you have to know how to use it, and you learn a little bit in school, and then as you work, like obviously if you're brand new out of school, they're not trusting you with the logbook, like you're definitely going to watch and ask questions and go through it. I was always kind of introverted, so I would never ask the questions. I didn't want to be seen as like the dumb guy.
Yeah.
And so like my thought was like I wanted to I learned better visually anyway, so watching other people do something. And so I would watch what people do and try to figure out why they're doing it. And then if I do still have questions after watching a lot of it, like then I would ask like a side question. You don't want to ask questions in front of everyone because then you're just a jackass. And so I would try to ask side questions, and then you build up this false sense of confidence.
Yeah.
Well, when I spent my year in Korea and I did a lot of work and kind of got my feet wet in the aviation industry there, and I started doing phase maintenance at Fort Campbell, which is like every so many hours, like you change your car oil every 2,000 miles. It's the same way the aircraft is just they measure it by flight hours. Every so many hours you got to do stuff, and that's what I was doing at Campbell. And I was doing work on a phase, and I was always a great mechanic. I was never a great soldier. I was a great mechanic, very good at my job, but I was never the guy in the logbook, messing with it. I thought I knew what I was doing, and I definitely didn't. And I got told to go take care of some faults in the logbook so we could progress through our phase.
Yeah.
And so I walked up with so much confidence and just suppressing all of my doubt in myself, and I fucked that logbook all up. Like, it was bad. Like, you're supposed to go, there's little faults for every little detail, and then you're supposed to go into the fault and correct all your work in there. And I just started correcting all my work on the main faults, some that had nothing to do with what I was even working on. And it was a disaster. Like, it is so much work to unfuck that, because it's FAA, tracked by the government, all that kind of stuff. It's not just like, hey, the company's kind of fucked over now because you did that. It's like, there's a lot of people looking down on this now. Like, why are you guys letting this little fucking specialist fuck with this book like this? And I got my ass reamed so hard. And for me, I needed it, because I needed the lesson. Like, I don't know everything, and I need to not be afraid to ask the dumb questions if I don't know something.
Yeah.
Like, false confidence, it can help sometimes, but like when shit's really on the line, like you got to know that, you don't know something, and be okay. Like, I don't fucking know this for whatever reason. I don't know this. I need help.
Yeah.
Can you help me? And I didn't do that, and I needed that lesson. And I just remember I was sitting out on the hangar floor where everyone can see you, and I'm at parade rest, and I got this I think it was an E8 and like a CW4 just reaming my ass, rightfully so, because I fucked up. But and it's kind of funny because I got two things. One, I realized that I need to ask questions and not be afraid to look dumb if I don't know something. And two, like, nothing's ever going to scare me again, because that's kind of the worst of it, especially in the civilian world. Like, I had civilian bosses that tried to like get tough with me, like, for whatever reason, not because I fucked shit up, but just because they wanted me to work harder or something other. But and I just kind of like, I wouldn't laugh in their face, but in my head I was laughing. I was like, I mean, you can get tough with me, but like, I've seen tough, you're not tough. So it was a double, it was a nice little double lesson. You know, ask questions, and it's not going to get much harder than this.
No.
But it was definitely one of those shit balls, you know, that you just got to know that it's golden for one reason or another, and you know, keep it with you and always remember it and learn from it.
Those little balls that the dung beetles roll up, they're worth
Yeah.
a ton of money.
Oh yeah, this one was worth a shit ton of money.
And that's the thing too, writing those logbooks, when you're learning about it, the people that teach you, 9 times out of 10, sometimes you have great teachers. I'm going to say that very clearly.
yeah.
Sometimes I want to thank you, AE2 Lane, for making everything perfect when I was a little airman, little baby. But sometimes you have people that are above you that are trying to teach you, and they're just like, in accordance with items, object good,
Yeah.
area secure and fraud free, that's all you need to write, just write it like that. And that's
Yeah.
not okay.
That's not a good lesson.
No, and outside of that, did you ever have any times where someone that was like just a little bit above you tried to throw some like orders at you and that you didn't necessarily agree with, and did it cost you anything?
Yeah, like you'd get sergeants on your phase that like they would try to tell you one of those things where they don't want you to think too much. They want you to do it because I mean they got a lot on their plate too. Like as bad as we might have it, they have it a little bit worse because they're in a position of responsibility over stuff.
Yeah.
And so they're feeling pressure as well from the top. And so they kind of want you to do it a certain way, and sometimes you don't feel comfortable like just with the like the verbiage vomit that they want you to throw in there, like you were just saying. Like, and so it's like, I mean, we kind of did things differently though. Like I want to address this better. I want to make sure it's correct. I don't want to get my ass chewed out again. So sometimes you gotta kind of go back and forth. And I think I found during this time, like that's when you can like try to influence people by making them think like something was their idea.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I really like that idea. We could also do it like add on to what you said. We could do it, add this little bit in there so that way they know this and this, and like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. And so it's like they're getting more comfortable with your input, and it's not like, oh, this little E3 or E4 is trying to tell me how to do my job that I've been doing for years. And then even higher than that, like I said, they got pressure on them, and you got like the officers and everything that like this aircraft's like a week overdue, like hurry up and finish it. And it's like, well, no, because like people fly in this thing.
Oh yeah.
Like just because I don't fly in it doesn't mean I'm not gonna take my time and do it properly for the the pilots that have to fly this thing, because I don't want to be the guy when they come back like who worked on this. It's like I'd rather than be like, hey, who worked on this? This is great. A little late but great, rather than like, who do we need to think interview about going to jail or something? It doesn't kill pilots. So
because I mean it's the old adage, slow is fast.
Yeah.
If you do things the right way, you don't have to redo them.
Yep.
So we're going to take a quick little pause, and then we're going to get rocking and rolling into life after the uniform and your time slapping some sticks and pucks around. So, be right back.
Hey there, what's going on? It's your Auntie Wanda, and I'm coming up in here to tell you, every Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, you can catch me at the Motown Theater right here at 9:30. Don't miss it, okay? Bring your man. Bring that nigga who ain't even your man. Bring somebody else, man. Don't you look at my man. Come on in.
All right, and we're back. How are you doing, Nate?
I'm doing excellent.
So, talking about your transition process, when you finally got out of the military, you got out of the Guard, and you're getting ready to become a civilian, what sucker punched you more? Leaving the military, or realize that most people don't care that you ever served unless it happens around something that is like an important event?
My wife and I have never been like the kind of vets that like want a lot of recognition for what we did, and I think that's fairly common amongst our generation of vets. Like you see the older guys that wear the hats, and for me, I've thought like, oh, should we get the hats or anything? But it just doesn't feel right, so we never really worried like, take us for a service, or we've gone to like events where people are like, oh, let's get the vets to stand up, and we'll stay seated. And we're like, oh, appreciate it, but I don't really want the attention. So like, it never bothered us. Like if we were more comfortable, like if it came up, like we served, we did this and this, but at the same time, keeping it kind of low key was better for us. So
yeah. So there's a lot of vets that when they're in that transitional process, they go from writing their resumes for the first time to getting out there and doing things that they've never done before, like shopping for a house, going through and getting a new car if they were stationed overseas. Was there ever a point where you realized that, like, hey, this is a lot and I'm kind of not okay and I need some assistance going through this transitional process?
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of just forced to feel with it, because like I feel like for most kids, they get out of high school, and then they still leech off their parents a little bit, and they'll do college or whatever, or first jobs, trade schools, and they still have that kind of family background to fall on. And when you go through the military, like I was 9 years, and so I was a full-on adult, like well away from my family and everything. And I think having my wife there helped a ton, like, because she's a genius, super intelligent, and makes life so much easier for me. And so like having her and like bouncing things off of each other, like we were getting out, trying to get jobs and find houses and stuff like that, like it was good to have that. I can imagine it's probably a lot harder for a lot of other vets that were just on their own, like surviving. And but I was fairly fortunate that I got married, already had a family working on it, so we were we would work on that stuff a little bit while we were in, because we were living off post, obviously, so it wasn't terrible for me. So
I mean, there's nothing better than getting that BAH money and living off post and having a place that you can call your own.
Oh yeah, we actually did it that way when we decided to get engaged. We just went to the courthouse and got married, so we could immediately move out. And then we had like our engagement period. We were technically married. Like I didn't wear a ring or nothing, because we wanted it to be like an actual engagement process. But at the same time, you want those benefits.
Yeah.
So.
Because especially with the VA loan, it adds a lot of value to have that other person that you can bring onto it and like make things into fruition and reality and have a place that's all your own.
Yeah. What's funny about the VA loan that I didn't know, but if your house appreciates in value, you technically didn't use your VA loan, so you can use it again. We used my wife's twice. Yeah. Because our first house that we bought under her VA loan, we made money on the house, and so we ended up using it all over again. I haven't even used mine. Yeah,
you can file towards reducing your entitlement and use that to purchase a second home. A lot of vets don't know that you can use it more than once. A lot of vets don't know you can have multiple properties. I know an old retired master sergeant who has 6 properties that were all under VA loans, and he just bought, cycled, got his thing, so every single time he PCS, he bought a new house. Yeah. And now he's retired, and he doesn't have to work anymore because he utilized his VA loan the right way.
Yeah, good for him.
So, when you got out of the military, did you have a low point where you thought, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I miss the structure a little bit.
All the time. Yeah, it was nice. Like, the government, took a lot of your worry out. obviously if you get married and kids and stuff like that, it adds a little bit more back into it. But even then, you still have processes that you can rely on.
Yeah.
That you don't have to worry about things. And when you get out, that's it. Go live, man. Go survive. And so, we worried about stuff and, fought to get through it. I think even probably to this day, I think about should I go back in some form or another?
Yeah.
Whether guard or reserve or even active duty at some points. But I think for a lot of people, it's people that you miss. The structure of everything's nice, and the fallbacks of being in the military, it's nice and comforting. So it's like they're almost protecting you from failing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for a lot of people, it's just the people that you miss, because you come out and the people that you work with are not going to get your stories, and they're not going to get your jokes, and so if you don't find those other vets, I feel like you lean on that idea of going back in more than if you find a community like we have.
Yeah, I would equate joining the military a lot for someone who has no clue what joining the military is like, similar to the movie Instant Family with Mark Wahlberg, where they're going through and then they just decide to adopt some children, and then they adopt some teenager and children that came with it, and they're just like, this is a part of your family now. Through thick and thin, through rough and roll, doesn't matter. You're gonna hold them tight and hold them close to you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you finally get out, you're no longer in that life. You're not in frame of mind because you're not seeing it every day. And you'll have your ride or dies that stick with you and check up on you and stuff.
Yeah.
But you lose a piece of that family. It's like a piece of your soul when you get out is not there anymore.
Oh yeah.
And transitioning out of the military is kind of tough for some people.
Yeah. I know a lot of us probably get excited oh, I'm finally out, I can do whatever I want. And then you're switching to oh, I got to do something, and I don't have this community that's been built up that I saw every day for the past however many years, to support me or, be there and help me through, whatever is going on. So yeah, it's crazy.
Hell yeah. And then one thing that we challenge every single person that we bring on this podcast is to share something unique to them that they do for either passion, purpose, or therapy. And you shared with me off camera that is hockey, that is skating, that is getting out there in the ice and making things happen.
Yeah.
You want to go check that out right now, and you're going to show me a little bit?
Absolutely, yeah.
Hell yeah. We're going to be right back, and I'm going to have ice skates on in the next frame. 3, 2, 1.
What's up, buddy? Where are we right now?
We are at Elevate 02. It's a hockey training facility.
Oh, fuck yeah.
In the southern part of Las Vegas. So they have a small rink here, and it's purposely built for just hockey training. They do a little bit of 3v3 stuff, but it's not as big as the big rinks, so it's really nice for learning the game, no matter what level you're at. So.
Heck yeah. Let's dive into it then. You're going to teach me some stuff. We're going to learn a little bit.
Yeah,
It's a fun time.
Oh, we're going to have a lot of fun today. So I got you some basic gear, enough to get you out there.
Oh, you said take these things off.
Yep.
Definitely biggest thing is not lock out. You don't want to lock out your legs, so slight knee bend kind of keeps you good center of gravity. So a good knee bend, and obviously not too far down, but nice knee bend, nice relax. Now, instead of running, it's just like rollerblades. You want to push out to the side, like such. Push out to the side, reset. 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 Off. Same thing with a stick, except you're not using the stick to hold you up, because that'll mess you up. Same thing. Push, reset, push, push, reset, push.
You're doing all right. All right, you ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right, let's teach you how to handle the puck. So the key is, when you're stick handling, is you want to always cradle the puck. See how my blade turns over? And that's all done with your top hand, your right hand. So you just turn it over. And all you're doing is nice and easy cradling it.
It's a lot harder than it looks.
The most crucial part of stick handling is after you stick handle, you got to put one on. It's just, you can't stop stick handling without shooting one.
Okay.
So you handle, take it a shot. See what you got.
So just like this.
There you go.
There we go.
Forehand, bring it here, push down on your stick, and you can feel a pop in your palm.
Kind of like a bow and arrow.
Okay.
Like if you draw a bow back and you just pull back a little bit and you let go, it's just going to trickle down. But if you really get that stretch out of it, you can really put a lot of speed into your shot.
Take a little bit, forehand.
There you go, that was a good one. Take some shots from here and then we'll put you through the gauntlet. Beautiful. Picking them corners.
There we go.
You did it. All right, are you ready for the gauntlet?
All right, what's the gauntlet?
So we're gonna have you lined up against the wall, and you're gonna be over there, and all you gotta do is stick handle.
Okay.
And stay on your feet. All right, this is what you're gonna do first, before the gauntlet. So all you're doing is skating right over these pucks, side to side. Right in between them. Huh?
I think the issue is I'm thinking about it too much.
You're thinking too much?
Yeah.
That definitely doesn't help. There you go. You're recovering well.
Goal.
And keep both hands on that stick. Ready?
Go.
All right, here it comes. Go ahead.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. Stay with it. Stay with it. You're doing great. It was great. You're really good.
Let's go when you're ready.
Let's go.
All right. Keep your puck, keep your puck, keep your puck, keep your puck.
Good game.
I think you passed.
And that's it. I'll see you back at Able Baker.
Real quick, this is our MVP
This is your MVP.
for Really Okay Hockey. Since you did such a great job today, that guy's yours. That's Vicky.
Vicky!
Good work.
All right, and we're back. How are we doing, Nate?
We're doing much better now.
So, after a little bit of time on the ice, what do you think? Do I have what it takes to join the Las Vegas Warriors? Be completely honest with me.
Well, I gotta say, everyone starts somewhere, and you definitely started somewhere.
Started on the ground a little bit. That
Yeah.
wipeout was crazy.
Yeah.
Man, I hope I don't get a little bit of a scar from that.
You might be all right.
So, what made you finally decide to lace up the skates? What was that pinnacle moment for you where you decided, hey, this is for me?
It was kind of a shock, actually. I was still living in Illinois, and a friend asked me to sub for his team. And this was before ice. It was like an outdoor, like street hockey type deal.
Yeah.
And he asked me. It's called deck hockey, DEK, but he asked if I could sub for his deck hockey, and I thought like, backyard deck barbecue stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you asking me to do, dude? And he explained it all, and he told me, he's like, yeah, we need a goalie for this game, and we need a couple of other guys to play. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, I played in PE, but I've never played, outside of that.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll give it a try. And I told him, like, I didn't watch hockey or anything like that. I was like, let me play goalie, which was a dumb idea. Let me play goalie so I can see the whole game and kind of get a feel for it, and who knows, maybe I'll be good at goalie and I'll stay doing that. And so I watched a couple of YouTube videos like on how to goalie, how to butterfly, where you drop your leg pads down. We actually only lost that game by 3.
That's not bad.
Yeah, final score was 16-13. And so that was the last time I played goalie. But I was hooked from that moment. Like, even just playing goalie, I knew like hockey is amazing. That's something I want to do a lot of. And ever since that one game, I've been playing nonstop, like almost every day, practicing, shooting, doing something hockey related.
Oh, hell yeah. And now you're a part of the Las Vegas Warriors. So what makes the Las Vegas Warriors something that vets show up for and actually care about? Because everyone I know that's a part of the team, they hold it true to their heart.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this kind of goes back to the thing where, like, when you leave the military, you lose your people. And, like, vets in isolation is terrible in every sense. And so hockey, like, for us, has kind of rebuilt that community for us. Like, we don't see each other as much as we probably would like to, or, saw others while we were, serving. But we're always there for each other. Most of my really good friends here in Vegas are my teammates, and they're the ones I see the most. We just had a big barbecue the other day for our beer league team, and it's mostly our vets.
Yeah.
So like, we all come from different services, backgrounds, different military careers, and different deployments, all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter to a lot of us because, we're there for each other. In one way or another, we can relate to each other, and we're always going to have each other's back. And then not only that, but like the Warriors in particular, we get to go compete, across the country against the same people that we love. And so we'll go, play against this new team, and we'll have a fierce battle where we're checking even though we're not supposed to. We're being a little bit too aggressive usually.
All the things that come with hockey.
Yeah, and then as soon as it's over, we're drinking beers. I remember one of our last tournaments, we had a really good game, and it was a tough game, and we sat with the team we just faced watching a couple of the other teams, and we ended up all drinking together, mixing together, and then we took our shirts off and swung them around for the teams that were playing.
You want to do that right now?
No, I think we'll probably get kicked out. But yeah, like you get to build this bond with vets all over the country, and I feel like a lot of our channel is vet driven, which is amazing. Couldn't ask for a better group. So I think it's just that camaraderie and our love for hockey that keeps us that close, and makes it so like this group, the Las Vegas Warriors, is a crucial part to all of our lives.
Hell yeah. And you started coaching, right?
Yep, I started coaching for my kid.
Hell yeah. Now that you're coaching, what's something that you wish someone drilled into you for good habits so that way you were able to instill that on the next generation?
Skating, absolutely skating. I started playing as an adult, so I didn't get to do all the drills, and I think a lot of vets that are playing, they're kind of the same ways. They didn't get to experience all the really easy, basic beginner stuff, and if I could go back, that would be one thing. Is I would want to be a much better skater so I could help teach the kids that I coach.
Oh yeah.
So
Is there ever a moment on the ice where you just kind of lock in? You almost feel like, I don't want to say runner's high, but something similar to that, where you're just in the zone. There's nothing but you, the skates, the ice, the stick, and the puck.
yeah, I think when I'm a forward. I like to play center, so usually if we're on the rush, it doesn't matter what's going on. I could have been, near death, gasping for air. I need water. Who's got an IV? And if the puck starts moving the other way, I'm like, oh, yes, I'll rush.
Yeah.
And everything goes out the window. My head stops thinking, and my body just moves. It's like, all right, go score, go help someone else score. Let's add to this tally, and I just can't help it. And then I regret it because I'll get to the other end and realize that I can't breathe. Everything hurts. The play's going the other way, and I can't go with them because I've got nothing left. So it's definitely a rush, taking the puck in. So,
is there anything that the ice kind of gave you that the military could have never?
Oh man,
I know.
I don't know. It's just that competitiveness of sports, I guess. I've always played sports in one manner or another. I did a lot of football when I was a kid, and I dabbled in every sport I could get my hands on. And there were some sports I wanted to play but never could get into. And I think it's just the competitiveness of sports. Like, the military is competitive in its own ways, but I'm just an insanely competitive person.
Yeah.
And I think sports ticks that box for me, where I can release that and really put it to good use, so to speak. So
Hell yeah. Do you have anyone that wears a hockey jersey that you kind of look up to and want to emulate a little bit more in your play style?
ooh, professional hockey or
Professional hockey, yeah.
professional. My favorite player has always been Patrick Kane. I grew up in Illinois, even though I wasn't a Hawks fan at first. That's the team I latched onto first. And Kane's an American, and he's a phenomenal player. Godlike hands with the puck. Whatever he wants to do with the puck, it's just going to happen. And he's got a great shot, and just insane moves. Watching him when I first got into hockey, watching him and the Blackhawks, that was during their championship run, and so it was just I was in awe. I was like, man, this guy is insane, and I want to be that good. I want to be able to do what he can do.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what makes me. I'm typically a shooter more than a playmaker. I think I'd like to be a little bit more like McDavid with the Edmonton Oilers, because he is a playmaker, and I think the better hockey players are playmakers who can, make things happen when others can't. But Kane's always my favorite player, and if I could pick one person to play like, it would definitely be him.
So, have you ever had a moment that stuck out to you where you finally hit that flow state, where everything was in the zone and you just felt it in your bones when you're on the ice?
Yeah, sometimes I think it was a few years ago, I finally figured out how to we call it deking.
Yeah.
D-E-K-E. It's like a juke in football, but it's a little bit more complicated with the puck. And I had been working on that a lot, just being able to move the puck without losing it. And I just started using it in games, and my teammates were surprised. I was surprised. I can't believe that actually worked. And it started creating more opportunities for us. And I realized I was playing a lot of defense before that because I could skate backwards. That was essentially the reason. But I started being able to effectively move the puck up. And that's when I started switching more towards a centerman role.
Hell yeah. What would you say to a vet who is curious about hockey, but their whole mentality is, I'm not a fucking athlete?
So, who cares? Do it. Fucking do it.
Hell yeah.
Like, I think hockey speaks a lot to vets because it's a violent sport.
Yeah.
So it lets us let out that aggression. It's a big team sport. And so the one thing, like I said, that we miss is that camaraderie. So you rebuild that with your entire team, not just like your own line or something like that. All those things together, it's like, yeah, you're going to suck. You know, you obviously know that. You're going to suck when you first start out. I sucked so bad when I first started out, especially if you're starting an adult, even if you're old. Like I know people, you know, in their 40s and 50s that are vets that started playing hockey just so they could be closer to other vets. And, you know, they pick it up pretty quickly. And so like you're not going to suck forever, especially if you put any kind of time in your game. Like you don't have to practice every day to be a decent hockey player. And you just attach yourself to a community and to a lot of fun things. And, you know, if you're afraid to move with it, you're gonna miss out on so much that you didn't know you could have. So it doesn't matter if you're afraid, that's cool. Be afraid, you know, get with other vets or, you know, just other hockey people in general. Learn to play the game and just come out and have fun and be with other vets like you should be.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like hockey kind of taught you a bit about patience almost.
Yeah.
What did hockey teach you about patience?
I'm a very impatient person, as it is. So like, I want to do things now, and I don't like waiting for it. So, you just kind of have to learn that, you know, yeah, there's times when I have the puck and I can dictate what's going on in the game, but there's also times when I just need to be a good teammate and find a good place to get on the ice that I can be an effective teammate. Or if I'm on the bench, you know, find the right words to help the rest of your team along.
Yeah.
You know, ideally you go out for like 45 seconds to a minute, but like it's beer league, so you go out for a couple minutes usually or longer. But you know, so you're sitting for a lot of the game and only going all out for a small portion of the game. So you got to learn to be okay with sitting there and, you know, having an impact on the game away from the puck.
Yeah. You were telling me a little bit about getting started in your fitness journey.
Mm-hmm.
And you said something about doing a Murph. What's the Murph?
So the Murph challenge is like a CrossFit workout. It's a lot of push-ups. I think it's crunches.
Okay.
Forgive me for not knowing, but and a lot of pull-ups, which I've never been good at pull-ups anyways. And then you run a mile before and after, all with a weighted vest. And it's modeled after like workouts that Lieutenant Mike Murphy used to do. He was a Navy SEAL, and, you know, obviously gave his life a very, you know, crazy situation in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And a lot of like service members and first responders, they do the Murph to honor his memory and the memory of those lost in Operation veterans. And I've always seen people do the Murph. I've never attempted it. I've never been like the fittest dude.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in Afghanistan, I had nothing else to do but work out, so I was pretty fit then. But even then, I didn't attempt it, you know. And like the last year, I've been dealing with a lot of severe back issues. And right around Memorial Day this year is when I first, I started seeing people like posting about them doing their Murphs. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? Like I spent the last year essentially just sitting on my ass because my back wouldn't let me do much else. Like I'm really tired of this. And so I decided then that I was going to spend the next year trying to get as healthy as I can be. And that I wanted to culminate with a Murph on Memorial Day next year. And then, you know, I do the Really Okay Hockey podcast with a couple other disabled veterans, and I brought it up to them, and I was like, let's make a thing of this. Like, let's do this together. Let's all do this. just get healthy, because health is a very important aspect of hockey anyway, so it's going to benefit us more than just one way. And let's try to like raise money, and let's try to make this like a group thing and invite other people to follow along with us, and try to complete the Murph, whether you can do it easily now or you've never attempted it like me. Like we can all make changes together and get healthy together, and benefit each other in some way, no matter how big or small. And so that's kind of what we want to do, is we want to do the Murph next year, with whoever wants to come join us, and
Hell yeah.
try to make a thing out of it.
I mean, the Murph, it almost like kills something inside of you, and you regrow out like the ground like a fresh little flower.
Yeah.
What are you raising money for?
So we're raising money for the Las Vegas Warriors, which is our nonprofit disabled veterans hockey team, obviously. And then also for the Coast to Coast Foundation. They're an amazing organization. They're a nonprofit, and their big thing is special forces operators from across all branches.
Hell
So we've been doing stuff with them for years. They come here every year as part of their ride across America to remember their fallen comrades, and they come and do a big hockey game here. And it's easily the best game I've ever played in. I don't think I've ever played that hard in the couple of times I've got to do it.
Yeah.
Because you don't wear a jersey with your name on it, your team name, nothing. Like, you wear their logo, and then you wear a fallen Special Forces operator's name on your back. And then the game's broadcast. So the families of these people, of these amazing service members who sacrificed their lives, like these families are watching you with their, family member's name on your jersey. So like, nobody wants to go out there and phone it in.
No.
Like, you go out there and you give every little bit that you have to have the best game, just so these families can see, their son or daughter's name, flying out there one more time. It's such a meaningful thing to be a part of. And so they honor these all these Gold Star families of the fallen Special Forces operators, and then they raise money to help with the healthcare of retired Special Forces operators. So they're really big on the mental health aspect of it. They do a lot of kind of niche treatments, and a lot, like, the money they raise goes to keep sending all these service members to get the help they need.
Hell yeah.
And better their lives. So.
And that's really important too. And our Gold Star families are someone that we need to hold close, because they sacrificed everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
And there's nothing more I can say other than thank you, because it's almost like they serve too. Yeah.
And it's an amazing thing to be a part of. It's an honor every time I get to put on one of those jerseys. They got another one coming up in a few weeks, and I'm really hoping I get to skating in it again, because it's absolutely an honor to be a part of it. So
I would say it's almost on the same level of being in a memorial service, being a flag boy, going out there, you're folding it up while you're marching and going through.
Yeah.
It feels like that same level of respect and dignity that you're giving to the family.
Yeah. And sometimes these some of the families will be at the game, and so you're out there skating wearing their son's name, and you go meet these families with their son on your back, and it's like, if you're gonna hold your head high at all after that, you have to give everything, almost to the point where you can't even talk to them afterwards. So
that's powerful. We're gonna be right back. We're gonna take a quick little bit, and then we're gonna get rolling on how we can help vets who are in their transitional period. All right, we're back. So as we close out on talking about your fitness journey, have you ever pushed so hard that chasing progress, your body snapped and it humbled you?
Yeah, actually. So I had my spine surgery in January, and May was the first time that I got to come back out on the ice. And I started taking it really slow, because I didn't want to re-injure myself, obviously. But
yeah,
it was like this weird thing. Like, my body knew what it wanted to do in the game, but I just couldn't do it. Like I didn't have the cardio, I didn't have the muscular endurance anymore because I've been sitting forever. And I remember it was towards the end of the game that I told you, like, when we're on a rush, I don't think, I just do.
Mm-hmm.
And we had just finished this great little movement inside the O zone, and it didn't go our way. The puck, cleared the zone and started going the other way. And I went to try to skate with them, and I realized, like, I might throw up right now. Like, I've got to sit here. And so I just sat there. I think I was like kind of doubled over on my knees, just not moving. And the goalie was a friend of mine. He's like, yeah, "Are you okay? Like, what are you doing?" I was like, "Dude, if I move in like the next 2 minutes, I'm throwing up on the ice and the game's over." And I was like, "I just got to sit here." And like, I just sat there, like trying to like breathe and get it back. And then I went to the bench, and just the skate from, the far zone to my bench, it was the same thing. I got to the bench, opened the door, and I just sat by the trash can. I was like, "It's coming. I can feel it. It's coming." And I just had to sit there and wait it. And there was still time left in the game, and I was like, "Nope, that's it. Like that's my last shift. I just can't do it physically." And it kind of sucked because, I don't like to not be able to give everything I can when I play hockey, but it was odd, like feeling that, like, okay, this is my limit.
Yeah.
Currently, like I can build on top of this. So, but yeah, it was definitely rough.
So, I want to dive a little bit into mental health. We're going to start it off strong. The war's over. Why is it that we're still burying our brothers? I want to talk about veteran suicide and why is this an epidemic right now? From your perspective, what is something that you see that you wish you could change?
I wish we had more like outlets for vets, like not like the VA or nothing, like, but like we have the Las Vegas Warriors or MVP, Veteran Social Club, like, just organizations that like are started and ran by vets.
Yeah.
That their only goal is to care for vets. 'Cause like I said, like a veteran alone is a dangerous thing.
Yes.
And like a lot of us, like our generation of veterans, we don't talk about it a lot. Like we don't, like other veterans were, further generations were like that too, famously. Like they never spoke about their time. And particularly us, like we don't want to sit there and talk, like, if we're meeting coworkers or strangers in a bar or something like that. It's not like, "Oh yeah, I used to be in the Army and did this, this, and this, and this." It's like, I'm going to listen to you talk about it. It's usually not going to come up that I was a veteran in any kind of manner. I used to play hockey with guys before I got into veterans hockey, and I didn't have any idea they were veterans just because we weren't talking about it. And then I started getting involved with the veterans groups, and I started seeing them there, or these people I skated with would come up and ask me, like, "Oh, hey, how do I get in that?" And I was like, "I had no idea you were a veteran. Like, I had been skating and I've known you for years. And we just don't talk about that." And if we don't have these groups that we can be with other veterans, I think it just leaves us alone.
Yeah, because veteran isolation is one of the key factors to veteran suicide.
Yeah.
Like, having those moments where you're alone with your thoughts and the demons start to come out to play is dangerous.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the only way to put that at bay is having a community.
Yeah.
Is there any programs out there that you wish existed, whether it's in the VA or out in the community or a nonprofit, that you think would really benefit the veteran community?
I mean, I'm a big believer in sports, of all kinds. It doesn't have to be hockey. It could be, whatever sports, veterans want to play. Just something. A group of veterans with another goal besides just like that, the fact that we're veterans, whether it's like health and fitness, it's hockey, it's video games, just something where we can get together, try to focus on something else, and then our service can come up very freely, and if we're having problems, we have these group of people right here. Like, oh, this guy went through pretty much exactly what I went through. He might be experiencing the same thing. Like, it gives us outlets to talk about the things that bother us that we may not be able to talk about with strangers or even with a psychologist or a spouse.
So we're going to end on this final point. If there's a veteran that's going through their transitional process, trying to find their own point of passion, purpose, or therapy, what is some advice that you'd give to them?
Experience everything you can. It took me a long time. Like, I'm almost 40. I'm going back to school in like 3 weeks for what I finally kind of know what I want to do with the rest of my life. Like, I've dabbled in a lot of different occupations. I was a paramedic here in Vegas for a while. Live life.
Hell yeah.
Like, don't be afraid to live it and enjoy things. And, when you need to, fall back on friends and, do what you can. But, we only got one of these, so
yeah,
do everything you can, as many times as you can, and just try your best to be happy. And when you can't, look for a shoulder to help you along the way.
So, I'm not too proud to cry it out. Thank you so much. We are out of beer. Thank you so much to Abel Baker for having us down here. We appreciate it. And thank you guys for the little duck.
Yeah. Maybe they'll let you keep that one for your Jeep, since you don't get another.
I don't have a real Jeep. Mine's a mom Jeep. But if you haven't been down to Abel Baker, check it out. New episodes of Vegas Veteran Voices come out every Friday. We'll talk soon. Peace.